right, so today we're going to be diving into 20 Minutes by Lil Uz Vert. Lil Uz Vert. This is the slowed plus reverb version, so check it out if you haven't yet. I'll include a link down in the description. It's pretty cool, actually. So I want to just kind of break it down and what's going on. As you saw in the beginning, I was playing through. I kind of made a little track just so I can play along and have fun. But if you listen to the bass, C, B, and then E, just open E, okay? So obviously I was playing on, where is it? Okay, obviously I was using this, but you can play that on any instrument, okay? The notes are C, B, and E. So you have C, B, E, C, B, E. Okay, so that's pretty much the idea. That's the whole song, just kind of loops, C, B, and E. As a guitar player, I've spent a lot of time kind of thinking about what is my role in music. I think when I first started playing, to be honest, I was just like really excited about being a part of every bar and every moment, and I couldn't wait till my solo, and I was just like all over the place. And I think as I've kind of matured as a player, I've actually kind of taken a more minimalist approach. And what I mean by that is you can say a whole lot with just a little bit, okay? Some of you may have heard the saying, less is more. So if I'm playing in a context, where I have a bass player and a drummer, or, I have a track, and I have all these different things going on, as a guitarist, I want to find a lane that no one else is in, and I want to kind of hold that down. I don't need to step on the bass player's toes. I don't need to step on the drummer's toes. And I don't need to try and do anything spectacular. I just need to be confident and follow the changes. And so I want to kind of talk about that. The two chords that I'm going to grab out of this. Instead of trying to play C, B, and E, I'm just going to take the first chord and the second chord, which is C, and then E. Okay? So let me back it up just a little bit. Whenever I hear bass notes, so I'm hearing C, B, E, right? And I've chosen that I'm going to do C and E. The first thing I asked myself is, does this chord sound major or minor? Okay, it took me a while to get really good at that, but it's a very, very simple question to ask yourself. Does it sound major or minor? And sometimes, honestly, you just guess. In this case, the first chord, C major. Okay, so you have just a regular C major, which is the note C, E, G, and then you have the standard E minor chord. Okay. So if you can't play C major 9 or E minor 9, no problem. You can totally just kind of play the simplified version of C major and E minor. Okay, that's totally an option. But as you play songs that have loops over and over and over and over and over again, sometimes it's cool and fun to just kind of make the chords a little bit more interesting so that they add more personality and more flavor. And to me, that's what R&B soul music is. It's that salt and pepper on the top. You know what I'm talking about? Like, anybody can make some chicken or some greens or whatever, but if you don't season it right, I don't really want nothing to do with it, okay? And that's how I think about R&B soul music. It's the same chords that every other genre uses. Like, it's nothing new, but it's the vibe, it's the feeling, it's the tone of your guitar, it's the voicings of the chords. Okay, that make it feel just really smooth and intimate and personal and just different than if I were to just be on a acoustic guitar, for example, playing those same chords. You would have C to E. Okay, that's just the kind of regular. But if I were to take those same chords and play major 7 chords, and then go to a just regular E minor, or major 9. Okay, so I wanted you to just kind of hear the difference on, between acoustic and electric. Obviously different vibes, but a lot of people get stuck, playing kind of the same shapes. And this is just a great opportunity to learn some new chords or some new shapes that you can just add to the library of things you've already been doing. So back to the guitar. Okay, so C major 9, I have my first finger, my middle finger on the 3rd fret of the A string, first finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, ring finger on the 3rd fret of the B string, and my pinky is on the 4th fret of the G string, okay? And if you just strum that, starting with the A string, D string, G string, and then the B string, okay? That's C major 9. Write it down, memorize it, take a picture, call your mama, don't forget it, okay? You can use this so many times. If you've never heard this chord or you've never used this chord, I challenge you to just find new ways to use it. It's so pretty and smooth and tastes like sweet potato pie. The next chord is E minor 9. Okay? I first learned this chord when I learned I am ready for love. Why are you hiding from me? If you don't know that song, I don't trust you, okay? That's India.Arie, Ready for Love. And when I first heard this chord, I was like, what is that? But really, if you think about it, I'm just literally taking E minor, which is just your first 2 fingers. A lot of people will play it like this or like this. But I have my first finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, and then I have my middle finger on the 2nd fret of the D string. That's the regular E minor. But lift up your middle finger and use your ring finger and go a whole step from where it was. So now I'm on the 4th fret of the D string. Thank you, India.Arie, whoever made that song. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful chord. It's a great substitution for E minor. Sometimes it's a little bit too much. It doesn't work all the time, but just experiment and explore and try out different options. It's great to have options. So I'm going from C major 9 to E minor 9. What I'm doing next is I'm kind of adding a little bit more pimp juice. Not that anyone asked me to, but if I'm gonna be sitting here doing a loop, I don't want to just strum, okay? So I'm actually arpeggiating the chords and using my hands to create this cool little vibe. So check it out. Okay, so what am I doing? Number 1, this is like one of my favorite major 9 tricks, is the pinky trick, where you flatten your first finger. So you have middle finger here, first finger here, ring finger here, pinky here, right? If you flatten this first finger so that it's barring both the D and the G strings, then you can hammer down with your pinky. And you're welcome in advance. If you didn't know about this, let me tell you something right now. Call your grandma and just tell her you love her, because that's how this is what this chord gonna make you want to do. You're just gonna call her and be like, Grandma, I just miss you, and I want to check on you, and just if you're cooking this week, I want to stop by. So I'm starting with the A string with my thumb. First finger pulling the D string. Ring finger pulling the B string, and then I take my middle finger and pull that G string while I'm hammering down with my pinky. Okay, sorry. So let me show you again. Real slow. Okay, sometimes I'll also pull multiple strings at the same time, which sounds really cool. So I can go. I'm taking the D and the G string and I'm pulling them at the same time, even though I'm just hammering down on the 4th fret with my pinky. It still creates kind of a cool vibe. Okay, and then I got, okay, what I'm doing with the E minor chord, the E minor 9 chord, is I just drank a whole thing of water. So if I burp a few times, I'm not gonna say excuse me no more, because this is gonna happen. Okay. You're pulling the low E string first, which is the bass note. Okay, and I kind of just create a little rhythm or a little pattern. I wouldn't really like overthink it, but in general, it needs to feel good and sound good. So what I'm doing is I'm pulling with my thumb, the low E string, and then with my first finger, the D string, and then with my ring finger, the high E string. So far you got, that's one option, to go E string, D string, high E string, and then just come right back up all the strings until you get back up to that A string. I'm gonna do it again real slow. Okay. So when you put that together, you get C major 9, okay, so that's that. Work on that if you don't know those chords or don't have them down. But if you, in the meantime, if that's too difficult, remember you can always just play regular standard C major. I'm not mad at C major. He's done nothing to me. Or E minor, regular schmegular E minor. We cool. Ain't nothing wrong with E minor. What's up? Hey, y'all doing? What's up? So the lick. Okay, very simple. I'm just kind of doing like a little mute pick lick, and I'm actually following the bass line again, which is C, B, E. Okay, so C, B, E. If you remember, we talked about the bass notes are C, B, E. And again, less is more. I could have done all of this fancy stuff all over the neck, but honestly, in my experience, you could be kind of a distraction as a guitar player when you do that. At least that's been my experience. So I get less dirty looks from the MD, and I get more callbacks when I keep it simple. So that's why I chose this lick. It's not a part of the track, but I just thought it was a cool little addition. And the reason why I chose it is because it also outlines the bass notes, okay? So I'm just playing C, B, E. You can play that anywhere on the neck. There's so many places you can play that. Okay? And get creative. There are so many different ways to play the same thing. And I think a lot of times people kind of get caught up in one way, and I know I did for a while. But if you think about this idea that you're playing the notes C, B, and E, as opposed to memorizing one place or one position that you play that, then it's going to really expand your mind and help you kind of see a bigger picture and more options of just like where that may be most comfortable for you to play. Where I was playing it was on the 10th fret of the D string, and then I just took my finger, my middle finger, and then took my first finger and played the 9th fret of the D string, and then right down to the 9th fret of the G string. So okay, a cool thing that I like to do sometimes is literally, you could go to a piano, a flute, if you have a flute, really whatever. These three notes are the same wherever you're gonna go: C, B, and E. So get creative. I know a lot of people ask me about like producing and just creating different things. Be creative and find different ways that you can play those notes and express yourself to enhance, you know, the vibe of what you're already doing. All right, so the next part I'm going to teach is kind of the octaves, or the main kind of lick or riff. First of all, I'm going to just play it. I play it with the beat. Okay. C major 9. Have you ever been in a situation where there's another guitar player there that you didn't expect? Raise your hand. Okay. So, what if you only learned one part, you didn't really truly understand how to play the song, you just kind of memorized something you saw some other dude do or some other lady do over there or at the Cracker Barrel, and when it came to time to perform, there was another guitar player there playing the part that you had learned? What you gonna do? Who you gonna call? You can't call the police. So you have to figure out ways to be creative with this information. And this is a great opportunity to do that. So I have this part that's octaves, okay? There's many different ways you could play it. Ray asked for octaves, so we're gonna do octaves because that's what Ray asked for. But I wanna point out the fact that you wouldn't necessarily play both of these at the same time. It's just two different parts that could go together the way that I just played it. So let me teach the octaves part. Okay, so that's it. That's the part slowed down, and I want to just point something out because I don't know how other people think about octaves. I've heard so many different kind of approaches and methods. Some people kind of look at one finger to guide them. Some people, I don't really know. But I first came across the concept of octaves through one of my favorite guitar players of all time, Wes Montgomery. So if you're interested in learning more about octaves, I suggest you go straight to the source, to the maestro himself. I am certainly no expert, but I can teach you what I know, and I can teach you what I played on this song and what feels right for me. So when I think about octaves, I kind of try and think of it as just a scale, to be honest. So there's so many different ways you can play it, but if you're playing with a note starting on the A string, I use my first finger and my ring finger to play that. So I got the A string and then the G string. All right, so you got okay. Now, notice I went Do, Re, Mi, and then instead of going here, there, I went to the next place, to the next string, which was right up under. See that? Okay, so why am I doing that? Because I'm trying to visualize where these octaves are, because if not, I just get really lost and just play the wrong notes because I'm just like, don't even know what's going on. So if you look at the 5th fret of the A string, that note is D. Okay, then you go a whole step. You should be playing the octave. So this is D and this is D. Octave just means it's the same exact note, just different pitch. It's a different octave. Bam. So then you go a whole step to E. Then you go a whole step to F sharp. Okay. Now right under each of these notes, if you go right below, you have the version that I personally use my first finger and my pinky for. So this is G, and that's G also. And then if I take that a whole step, this is A, and then I take this a whole step. Wait, Sorry, that was too far. See, it's easy to kind of slip off, so be careful. And then this is obviously B. Okay? So, all in all, when you kind of look at your guitar, I look at it two different ways. You can either look at it like this. Okay, like that. Or you got 1, 'Just so you can kind of practice going in between the two different shapes. I've seen people use, some people do this. Bless their hearts. I don't know how people do that because I cannot, for some reason I can't do it that way. So this is just the way that I do it. The lick starts actually here, okay, at the last one. So if we were to number these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay, just for the purposes of knowing which one I'm referring to. So we're starting at the 6th one. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I got 6, 6, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, I am thinking about it this way so that I can remember where to go and remember where to place my fingers. So as you have your fingers on the first kind of shape, I'm sliding into that one. So I'm starting a half step back. And I got my pinky on the 12th fret of the B string and my first finger on the 9th fret of the D string. Okay, then I'm going to go right upstairs, grab me something to eat. Okay. Okay, I got my first finger on the 9th fret of the A string and my ring finger on the 11th fret of the D string. Or sorry, the G string. Okay, then I'm going to go. First finger is on the 5th fret of the A string, and my ring finger's on the 7th fret of the D string. Sorry, G string. Why do I keep doing that? Then you're going to go up a whole step. Now my first finger is on the 7th fret of the A string, and my ring finger is on the 9th fret of the G string. Then I'm going to go a whole step, where my first finger is on the 9th fret of the A, ring fingers on the 11th fret of the G. So far we got. Okay, then I'm gonna hop back here. Okay, I'm grabbing the 5th fret of the D string and the 8th fret of the B string. Then I'm gonna go a whole step. And then I'm doing the 7th fret of the D string and the 10th fret of the B string. Okay, so it's kind of tedious to explain, but I just want to make sure you know exactly where my hands are and exactly what I'm doing. Now, real slowly, I'm going to show you the way that I play through it so that it kind of feels the way, vibey. So we got. Okay, so I'm sliding into the first one, and then I go right upstairs, and I don't slide into that one. After I hit it twice, I immediately slide down without pulling the strings again. I'll talk about this hand in just a second. I'll get to you, girl, chill. So we got. Okay, once you get down there, immediately slide up to the next chord. So I got. Okay. You gotta use your strong hands to make sure those strings are ringing out. So we got. Okay. After you slide up to the second chord, slide up to the third chord. So you want to really make sure your grip on this chord is solid, because you're about to be moving all around town, all over the neck. So when you what I'm doing with my right hand, again, everybody does octaves differently. This is the way I am playing this right now, is I just pull both strings with my thumb and my first finger. Why? Because I don't know. I just like to do that. It just sounds cool to me. Some people do picks or, you know, thumb. Okay? I like to do this. Because to me, it rings out clearly, it's powerful, it's stronger, and that's the way that it works out for me. So do what feels most comfortable for you, but I'm just pulling simultaneously the G string and the B string. And then when I go up to the other chord, I'm switching to the A string and the G string. I'm sorry, so this one is the D string and the B string. Okay, you can get real creative and alternate them, whatever. But the idea is to keep it clean and smooth, okay? So you got... Okay, so that's the first part. Once we get to the... You're going to immediately go down to this chord here. You're at the 5th fret and the 8th fret. And then you're sliding up to the 9th fret and the 10th fret. Now, there is, you know how sometimes loops, the first time it does that, and then the second time you're going to go from here and slide way up to the 12th fret and, let's see, 12, 13, 14, and the 15th fret. So it's pretty high up there, which is why I didn't play it on acoustic guitar, because my acoustic guitar doesn't really go up that high. So, I know that's a lot, but I'm going to play it again really slow, and I want you to really take your time on this, Ray, and really learn these chords, really learn these shapes, because once you get them under your hands, it may take you a little bit to really get it clean, but it'll be something really cool to experiment and to explore with, and to just figure out how to make this your own. Kind of, there's so many, you can slide into it, you know, you can shake it. I always say, make B.B. King proud and shake something. You can shake it and just give it a little bit more personality. So listen. All right. But once you get to that second part and you're sliding up to that 12th fret, just look at your target of where you're sliding to. I know a lot of people, you know, whenever you have to slide far, it can get kind of sloppy and you're kind of unsure. But if you just practice sliding from there to there, and just practice that by yourself a couple times, it'll get easier to land on that, okay? So I want to put it all together so you can hear how it goes. 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? Woo! That's definitely quite a stretch if you're not used to playing octaves. It might feel a little bit weird at first. I remember when I first started kind of playing octaves, I didn't think it really sounded right. And, you know, sometimes you got to kind of work on something for a little bit before it sounds right even to you. So don't just give up if it doesn't sound right at first, or if you can't really get the fingerings at first. Really work on it. And the reason why I tell you guys, this is how I do it, this is what works for me, because everyone has different hands, you know, a different hand structure. Some people have really big hands, some people have really small hands. Some people may even be missing a finger or had an injury where they can't use a finger. I've had people in camp, you know, my boot camp that way. And so always adjust to what works best for you. And always remember that just because I'm doing something a certain way, if that hurts you or feels uncomfortable, it's the difference between pushing through the pain and not taking care of yourself. So know that balance of when, okay, maybe I need to find another way that works better for me. So if that's you and you prefer to do the octaves this way or this way or this way, whatever way, you know, do whatever works for you. I always say it's good to know what other people have done before you, but there's nothing wrong or nothing, you know, there's no rules you can really break. I just want you guys to do what works for you. I swear they ain't been drilling all day as soon as I try to make a YouTube video. Speaking of YouTube videos, hit the subscribe button wherever it is. I'm almost at 100K, which is insane. I didn't even really notice, to be honest. I've been so busy, but I just wanted to thank you guys so much for all the support. I have been completely submerged with life and just trying to survive like everybody else during this time. But I so appreciate all the support on all my videos. So subscribe, leave a comment, and let me know how this is going for you guys. I wanted to say to Ray, thank you so much again for your support. I wish you the very best of luck with this song, and I hope that you work on these chords, work on these shapes, and not just use it for this song, but you can use these shapes C major 9 as a substitution anytime you have to play the chord C major. Try it out and see how it sounds. Anytime you have to use the chord E minor 9, or sorry, E minor, ask yourself, I wonder if I could play an E minor 9 instead. Okay? So I just think it's really cool to add things to your palette, and I tell my students all the time in Juno's Guitar Bootcamp, whenever you learn a song, you're not just learning this song, you're learning hundreds of songs. You're learning concepts that you can use in any song, in any style, okay? We're not just talking about R&B soul music, although obviously I love R&B soul music. I feel like it's a huge part of where I come from, and you know, black people are so creative and so amazing, and this style of music came from black people, came from, you know, our community. So I'm so proud to teach R&B music, and I love R&B music, but I always tell people, don't feel stuck in a box, like you can only play R&B music or you can only use these ideas in R&B music. Take them to rock, take them to salsa, take them to jazz, take them to blues, take them to pop, take them anywhere with you and see how they fit in, but you never know till you try. So without further ado, I'm gonna play Lil Uz Vert, 20 minutes. This tutorial was way over 20 minutes, but I wanted to be as thorough as possible and make sure you guys really had an understanding of not just what I'm playing, but why I'm playing these things, where they come from, and how it kind of works out for me. So I hope you have an amazing day, and that's all for the lesson, folks. I'll see you next time. Peace.